So congratulations, you know what you want to do with your life and you know how you're going to get there, and the answer is college. But the question is, how are you going to pay for it? Well, I'm Devin from Visions, and on this episode of Cash Clips, we're talking about paying for college. No matter your college, no matter your program, you're going to have certain costs that you need to pay. And it's not just tuition too, it's your room, it's your board, it's your food, it's your laptop, it's your books. There are so many things to consider, and when it comes to paying for it, start with the free. That means grants and scholarships. Most people begin with the FAFSA, and that's the free application for federal student aid. Now, this is free money that you don't have to pay back, which is why it's the best place to start. The application process is fairly simple. It's all done online, it's dependent on your household income. The money that you receive can go directly toward your college costs. Now, because it's dependent on your household income, you do have to fill it out every year. Thankfully, the process typically doesn't change. It's fairly straightforward. The next source of free money is in scholarships, and there are a few different types. Now, you've probably heard of academic or sports-based scholarships, but there are also some that are eligible for those who participate in certain activities, individuals with different types of abilities or disabilities. And then there are local scholarships as well, some that are tied to your institution, some that are tied to your county, some that might even be offered through your work. And these are all different examples of scholarships that you can take advantage of, money that you don't need to pay back. Once you've maxed out the free money, it's time for the paid money. The two most common types of federal student loans are subsidized and unsubsidized. Now, the great thing about subsidized student loans is that you are not charged interest while you're in school. Compare that with an unsubsidized loan, though, and they're going to be charging you interest during your college career. And then there are direct plus loans. These are primarily for parents of undergrads or if you're a graduate student or a professional student yourself. Federal student loans have some pros, they have some cons. Now, in the pros column, for most people starting out, it's great because outside of plus loans, you actually don't need a credit check and you don't need a cosigner, which lowers the barrier for entry for a lot of people. Another pro is that they come with a fixed interest rate, and that rate tends to be lower than you would get with a private student loan. And outside of that, I hope this doesn't happen, but if you do happen to fall on hard times, most federal student loans offer the option to pause or reduce your payments in case you get in a bind. And as for cons, there are borrowing limits associated, and if you do default, the federal government can actually garnish your wages or your tax return. So once you've taken advantage of your federal student loans, it's time to look private to fill in those gaps that may still be left over. Now, private student loans are offered through institutions like your local credit union or a bank or maybe even an online provider. The nice thing about private student loans is that they typically come in both installments and lines of credit. And a line of credit is great because that's just money that you can draw off of when you need it. So let's consider that one semester might be more expensive than another. You can just draw those funds as you need them when you need them. On the downside though, the interest rate tends to be a lot higher than it would be on a federal student loan, and most private student loans can't be consolidated like you could with a federal student loan. College can be expensive, and that's why you really need to have a plan before you apply. So if you have questions, stop by your local financial institution. They can answer those questions for you and help you get set up on the path for success. I'm Devin from Visions, and I hope you liked this episode of Cash Clips. If you did, like and subscribe. We have a lot more great content out there, and I will see you next time on Cash Clips.